Recently, I tore all the tendons in my elbow. I split my lip, and I hurt all the fingers in this hand. I had them all bent back and snapped back into place, and I couldn't use my hand for a couple of weeks.
I've gone through physical therapy for my shoulder. I've had a hematoma on my left hip for about, well, it'll be going on 2 years this summer. It's basically an island at this point. Anytime I fall on it, my entire leg goes numb.
And I'm developing one on my right side now too, which is great. And yeah, so every time I fall on it really hard, it's like a knife going into my side.
I had like a bruised chin, like black and blue fingers, like I was messed up.
We've got a couple broken ankles, 2 girls who had their legs broken in multiple places. We've got a pregnancy in the league right now, so she's out for a while.
Okay, let's go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your home team, the Liberty Bells!
Number 67, Derelict.
Yeah, my boss thought that was hilarious. She would tell all of her friends, like, my like sweet, super nice nanny, like puts on fishnets and knocks girls down at night.
Co-captain, number 8, Mo Payne.
I was in the band and, you know, played the bass and marched and stuff. But I hardly call that athletic.
Number 36, Triple X, Nina Knockout.
Like just random exercises that I didn't feel like doing. I just like black people don't do that. And I would have like a very straight face. And you know, I remember Mo was like, you know, she kind of got caught off when she's like, maybe they don't do that. Like I could see her face, and you know, and I would just like walk off the rink, and then finally she's like, get your ass back over here.
Captain of the Liberty Bells, number 06, Violent Temper.
When I adopted him, there's a little sign on the cage that said, rub my belly and I'm yours. And I tried it, and there it was, you know. Like now, look at him, he's like on drugs right now.
Manager, Slaybell.
Some guy who went to my high school and hung out there, and he was a metalhead, and I had a big crush on him, and I'd walk around, you know. And he used to be at the rink all the time. And then the rink that I went to closed. I don't remember if I stopped going to it because it closed or I stopped going to it because I discovered sex. But they probably happened around the same time. So it's not like football where everything's like clearly defined. There's a ball and you can understand how to track points.
And what we call the jam is a 2-minute period within our 20-minute period, because the game is played with 3 20-minute periods. You have 10 girls out on the track. 8 girls in the pack and 2 girls that are jammers.
The jammer gets 1 point per girl passed inbounds without illegally blocking them.
And they are the ones with a star in their helmet trying to score points.
The jammer's job is to make sure that they use their blockers that are on their team to get through the pack. The way that the pack works is our job is to make sure that the jammer doesn't get through.
The lead jammer is the first jammer to get through the pack without going out of bounds, without committing a penalty. And then she's awarded lead jammer status and can call off the jam at any time. A jam starts out, first whistle blow, the pack takes off. The second whistle blow happens about 5 seconds later. That's when the jammers take off. You take off behind the pack. The simplest way of explaining it to people is NASCAR meets ice hockey.
Now, this isn't scripted. It's definitely real. If you see a fight, it's because somebody hates somebody else and they are trying to go out for blood.
See past those girls.
Good strategery there by Hysteria, getting your points, calling off the jam. Well, you know, the jam starts 1 minute and 58 seconds. It looks like we will have 2 more jams for this period. We'll talk about why it's important that we recognize the referees in a minute. I'm feeling like I have my tail between my legs. But who do we have skating?
We have Mo Payne, co-captain of the Liberty Bells, skating against, of course, number 42, Hysterica.
Oh, and Goldie Box takes Hysterica out completely in quarter 4. And it looks like who's Brady?
Mo Payne is the lead jammer.
Co-captain of your Liberty Bells.
Less than a minute and a half left in this period, ladies and gentlemen. The
Ring
score
those
stands.
bells, ring those bells for
69
the
for the Riveters and 64 for the Liberty Bells. I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
That's okay. DJ, make sure not to compete with the announcers.
We will try not to compete with you, baby.
Oh.
From the crowd, Mo Payne calls off that jam.
Now the clock is running down.
Running.
But as we said before, it's like football for all of you Derby virgins.
My first bout was horrible. It was like I couldn't sleep for weeks. I was cursing myself for ever joining roller derby.
I was just really like hyper, and I couldn't sit down. I had to pee like a million times, and you know, everybody was like, I'm not used to seeing you like this because I'm usually pretty just chill.
People were telling me they were yelling and holding up signs. You can't see those people. You really have no idea what's going on in the crowd. You're very focused on what's going on in the track because it's so fast.
I was the first jammer for my team and the first jam of the night, and I was shaking. I mean, I was here, 800 people in the audience.
I remember coming home and just like being completely elated and not able to sleep all night because all I could think of was like, this play or that play, or the fact that 800 people were screaming for us the whole night. Like, it was, if I wasn't addicted before then, I definitely was addicted then. We're all scrambling to just find something that we enjoy outside of our like work or relationships or families. And a lot of times people don't ever find that, and it's sad. I had been looking for something that I could, use as a physical outlet. I really loved working out. I missed, having that kind of visceral experience of competition, but I didn't have any idea where I was going to find it. And suddenly roller derby fell into my lap. And when I found the Philly Roller Girls, I immediately had this sense within myself that I had found something that was going to keep me happy, that was going to like fill that gap. And frankly, it did more than that. It, at this point, has become the most positive source of strength and energy and passion in my life. And it sounds almost like a cliche, but it did save my ass, because, once you go down this path of not having anything to look forward to, then really you're just going through this motion. This really rekindled everything from my creative talent for being the art director in the league. It got me back into being physically active and competitive in a team sport environment that was healthy, that wasn't the excessive amount of competitiveness that's not good for me. It's honestly brought my family and I a lot closer than we ever were, which was kind of a funny side. This pride and interest from them that I've never seen. Like I said, I've played sports my whole life. I don't remember a time where my mom was sitting on the side of a soccer game, like holding up a sign for her daughter, And now she's like, I'm Violet Temper's mom. And it's incredible.
Despite all the stress of, making this organization happen and all the events happen, and despite the fact that we compete against one another and we're all very competitive and want to win when we're playing against each other in the home season, despite all that, it's such a great community of women, and we're all motivated to work really hard, and we push each other and have a lot of fun together, and that's kind of what really drives us all to be a part of this group. I've met some of the most amazing people, girls that I would never ever have talked to on my own before, for whatever reason, may have been prejudged them about the way they look or their style or whatever, and just find out that people are just really just great human beings and passionate and strong, and all of us are just very, very motivated to keep this going.
If I could just do roller derby all day and, get paid to play like a lot of the other professional sports, then I would love that. But at the same time, you know, we work hard to put it on, and pretty much all the events that we do, they just pretty much rejuvenate themselves. One event that we have helps to put on the next event, and that's how we stay afloat.
Our thinking was, let's put together, you know, a fun event, have some sanctioned bouts, have some challenge bouts, just have it be an extravaganza of Derby, and it just kind of grew 15 heads from there.
I mean, the extravaganza is a perfect example of you know, brainstorming and deciding that we were actually going to do the harebrained ideas that we came up with, which was, you know, 39 bouts in 2 days in the middle of a snowstorm.
We really wanted to do something for the East Coast teams because a lot of the focus has been on the West Coast because they've been around longer. And we wanted an opportunity for people to come out and have fun, and we wanted them to come to Philly and see what we could do. Everybody who came said they had a great time, and it was risk. I mean, it was a financial and emotional risk for us, but we took it, you know, and I think it worked out pretty well for us.
These girls make this shit happen. They're out there putting it together, organizing it, breaking their backs, and then still having enough energy to come out here and give us one hell of a bout.
When tournaments go on anywhere else in the country, we hear about it. We hear about who won, who is the big upset. You know, we hear all of those details. And I really think that we put Philadelphia on the map as an East Coast team that is serious, that's dedicated, that can organize, and that also whose skaters are amazing.
I'm hoping that in 5 years, I won't have to say, I play roller derby. I'm hoping that people will say, hey, you play roller derby, don't you? That type of thing. I'm not looking to be a local celebrity. What I'm looking for is for roller derby to be recognized for what it is, and for it to be respected for what it is, and to bring it back, and to give women actually a place where they can go and that they can play and it be recognized. If you work hard, if you have the determination, then it's a sport for you. It's a sport for everybody. You just have to have the drive and you have to have the heart. And that's what most sports are. But this actually gives you an opportunity to be a part of it. Roller derby is a bunch of crazy women put together, regular and not so regular. It just embodies an actual woman, all types of women from every different genre and every different age, from 18 to 45.
I thought it was like a sport of like 18-year-old kids who all like, you know, just come off their high school track teams and they're all raring to go, and I would be out there going, oh, my knees, my back. You know, I played sports when I was younger, but I was never on a sports team that won anything, and when I won, I was like, this is the best thing in the world. Everyone who's negative about the sport thinks it's all about the short skirts and the fishnets and the boobs. I'm one of those girls who does the full like makeup and the hair, and to me, I can't believe more people don't do that, because that's a load of fun. When do you get to like put makeup on and run around like you're a superhero in regular life? But there's girls out there who don't want to wear the skirts and who aren't interested in showing off their tits, and and they're not interested. They're interested in the sport aspect of it. We're aware of how people look at us, and if you come because you expect to see us fall down and get to see our butts up in the air, well, maybe next time you'll come because you came for the skirts the first time, and now you're coming for the sport the second time. Sometimes maybe your picture will get taken and you'll be in the local paper, but for the most part, it's a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work.
I thought it would be a way to exercise where I would feel compelled to go, where I would want to go for the social aspect of it. I work best independently because I have really high standards, so I like to just do things how I want to do it. I think for me, being part of a team sport has been an incredible just growth experience. You really have to learn how to first integrate a lot of different personality types, and also learn how to work with different people, how to accept criticism, how to give criticism, how to encourage, how to, how you are best encouraged, that kind of thing. And we talk about ourselves, our personal lives, how skating, how to make one another better, what we can do, what we're having trouble with. I mean, it's incredibly open, and I think that maybe stereotypically that seems like an unusual environment for females to coexist in. And it's something that I definitely wanted to reclaim, and was instantly reminded of my family of, mainly sisters when I joined Derby. It's just like a loud, ruckus, funny, intelligent group of women, who are powerful, and that's what I grew up with.
And I just, closed my eyes and just started kind of meditating a little bit, because I was just trying to empty my head. Because the one thing, when you get out there, you can't be distracted. You have to really be focused, and that's kind of, I think, the hardest challenge, especially when it's a home game and you're, involved in the production of the whole event, and you've got to switch gears completely.
The game is when we see the results of all of our practices, of all of our conversations about how we can be better, how we can work better together, how our team can improve. I mean, the game is where everything happens. So it's where the fun and the work matures.
There's a shitload of things that go into playing Derby. And it's not just the skates, and it's not just the cute little skirts, and it's not the uniforms, and it's not showing our butts off.
You're looking at 8 to 9 hours of just practice time. If there's a meeting that week, then you add another 3 hours. If there's an endurance practice that week, you add another 3 hours.
The skating part's almost the easy part. I mean, we train 3 times a week, and, at about, when it comes to the whistle blow, you forget everything because you've been training so hard. It's just like second nature to skate around in circles. And
most of these girls have full-time jobs. Some of them have kids. I mean, this is another full-time job.
All the other work that goes into it, I mean, is just mind-blowing. Every skater you see on the track is involved in a committee.
I spend at least 2 to 3 hours a day on email, so yeah, about 20 to 40 hours sounds about right. I often joke that my full-time job gets in the way of my other full-time job.
It's all women run and owned. We make our own rules. We decide how to run the league. We build this thing from the ground up.
And I think that's part of the reason why everyone has so much pride in our league, because we do everything. I mean, from the business aspect, from the legal aspect to skating. I mean, everything that gets done is done by skaters.
Just because you're a girl doesn't mean you have to go play tennis. That's not your only option for the rest of your life. You can do fun things. You can do strenuous things.
Well, I think that roller derby is really cool, and I really like that my mom's in it, and I also like that it's all girls running stuff.
And if Tatum can see that, a bunch of girls play really hard, they can fight really hard, they can stand up for themselves, they can run a business, they can run a successful business, they can get along, which, oh my God, girls are not supposed to be getting along with each other in large groups like that. It was really one of the reasons I went into this, because I wanted Tatum to see that girls can do things.
It's so many times that women don't really have an opportunity to have their own.
intellectually, I've always felt, that females should be strong and powerful, and I think that's translated a little bit into how I feel about myself physically. I think that I've come to appreciate, in a true and whole sense, how much my body does for me. Like getting knocked down, knocking down, the way that my shoulders are crunched after every bout. I appreciate the power in my body and the strength. And I think I look at my body differently, loving what it does and what it looks like in the same package.
It's okay to enjoy your body. Girls have so many freaking body issues. Like, I could spend an entire documentary screaming about it.
Generally, females' body image is tied in with self-worth too often and too much.
Every shape and size is valuable on a team. And also, you can learn how to use whatever shape and size you have to your advantage.
We all wear little clothes, big clothes, baggy clothes, tights, and ripped up fishnets, and we all look amazing.
Roller derby, for me, is the culmination of being a powerful woman, about being able to feel beautiful and look beautiful and skate and feel idolized for just a couple hours out of a month. Sometimes people need that, and I think that roller derby embodies all of that.
For a lot of women, there's not a lot of stuff that you can do athletically that's not run by men telling you what to do. And a lot of girls really appreciate the fact that they're working with other women. We want people to realize it's a sport, and we have a lot of fun, and there's tongue-in-cheek, and we get to have cute little names, and we have cute little uniforms, but it doesn't mean that we're not athletes. It doesn't mean we're not working hard at what we do.
This is something that we built on our backs. It's a bunch of type A type women getting together and just really making something work and making the nation turn around and say, well, wow, they can do it too. It's a powerful feeling to be known and to be respected for something that you love to do.
It was, I think, a good move on our part to demonstrate that, we do have our shit together. We host a good event.
We ran that whole ECE. We ran it, every single aspect of it, from publicity to putting it together. And as far as I'm concerned, that's your girl power right there. That's the best example you can have for other girls, for other women, is what we did that weekend. It's dangerous, one, because of what we do, which involves hitting bitches, knocking bitches, falling down, getting back up.
There was one time I went down, and I think there were maybe like 20 seconds left in the jam, and the refs called it off because I couldn't get up.
After a bout, I'm hurt, really hurt. I mean, my shoulders are crunched, and my knees are bruised and swollen.
I think I had a chipped bone in my ankle. There was this hard piece of something floating around in there for 6 months.
I haven't had any broken bones yet, or I say yet. And, I can deal with my shoulders being wonky.
We've had some torn MCLs and knee injuries that were pretty severe, hamstring, that kind of thing. You're definitely lucky if you have your own personal health insurance through work or whatever. That will definitely help you out a lot more than the USARs.
It's the organization that covers like jam skating and speed skaters and derby now. They'll cover you, but they only cover you after the first $2,000 of your injury. So $2,000 for somebody who's bartending 4 nights a week is a shitload of money.
We've had girls go down that get really injured and they don't have primary health insurance, and right now they're still limping around because they couldn't afford the deductible for even USARs.
People who do this are crazy about it, and they love it, and they're willing to put a hell of a lot of things before their own health, basically.
Even if I didn't have personal health insurance, I'd probably still do this sport because I love it that much.
We're also, addicted to this sport and the high that it gives us, and the fun that we'll never stop until we have to, until we get pregnant or get an injury or something tragic happens or we move. And then even if we move, we'd probably join the local league and and do it all over again.
We're probably getting ready to have another child, and we're working it around my derby season. So I guess I'm planning on doing this for a little while longer.
A lot of girls will say when they get pregnant, but I think if, you know, I ever get pregnant and get married and have kids, even after I got pregnant, I would be coming back.
Well, maybe if I get pregnant here, I can actually finish the season. I'll be back in time for the next season, which I maybe taking my derby involvement just a step too far, but you know, I enjoy it.
You get to a point where like you don't even question it anymore. Like you don't stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? You just do it. It's like breathing or going to your job, except you love it at the end of the day.
It's a cult. It's like, okay, so here's this thing that's gonna come into your life, take up all your time, all your money. You're gonna talk about it nonstop. Everybody who's not involved in it is gonna think that you're a complete asshole. So really, it is a cult. It really is a cult, and you just have to embrace the fact that it's a cult, and you have to embrace the fact that you're never gonna have time to do anything but roller derby.
Thank all you people at home. Support your local roller derby teams.